So, thank you for joining us here at Lovely Being You. So, pulling from your resources is like pulling from your experiences, right? They pretty much equal out. Each person that you meet along the way is guiding you to where God wants you to go. Even the mistakes, even the people you see as bad people, you perceive them as bad people because you had a horrific experience with them, or maybe not so bad, maybe just a tincture of a bad experience. Each one is teaching you that lesson. I remember I used to go to the village, and I used to go to get my haircuts done by this guy called Nando in Greenwich Village. I never forget it because his barbershop was unlike any other barbershop I've been in. Now, my grandmother's barbershop in Harlem, you get the guys coming in there. The music was always on point. I mean, every style of music. When a song hit the tracks, it was at the barbershop firsthand. And you'd hear the guys like, hey, yo, what's up, Chief? And they start talking and, they get the lowdown on what's going on. And then they start talking about politics. I mean, they talk about everything. But I was in the beauty salon. I was only walking through that section. And that section of the barbershop was quite intimidating because I'd go in there and the guys would be looking at you walking in. Now you have to watch the way you're walking. You wonder, oh my goodness, my hair's out of place. You had to really worry about those things, or did you? It was all about the individual, how you feel about yourself. I was very insecure at the time. I was a little girl and I didn't understand why they were always looking when you walked in the door. People have a tendency to look at you when you walk in the door, right? But this barbershop was very different from Nando's barbershop in the village. Nando would have music on. Now, Nando was Spanish, so you would hear certain music, but he had like a variety of different forms of music, but they were calm music. And he'd get you into the seat and he'd say, what are we looking for this time? But he never let on that he really wanted to be creative with your hair first. He wanted to hear what you had to say. Once you were totally finished with whatever it was that you were saying, he'd say, okay, all right, would you like me to do the same thing I did last time? And the funny thing is, he didn't have a chart. In Florida, the beauty salon I went to, they had a chart and they'd write down everything that they did for you in the past, that. But Nando had a memory. It was a photographic memory. And I said, Nando, remember that asymmetric haircut you gave me? I got a lot of compliments in college on that haircut. And I've had every kind of haircut there is. I'm telling you. I didn't do shaved heads though, but I did very short hair. And if it was shaved, it was more tapered in the back. But this time I said, I want the asymmetric again. He said, I'm going to give you the asymmetric, baby, but I'm going to do it a little different this time, okay? I'm going to do it a little different this time. And he never said time, but I loved the way that he spoke. I loved the way that he even made me feel when I was in the chair. It always seemed as though he was meditating when he did my hair. And when he finished, I was always, man, I'd walk out of that barbershop and I'd feel like everybody's eyes were on me. And I know I really tend to, be more lower, should I say low profile. I'm not really looking at all that stuff, but I'm telling you, those haircuts, when I got on campus, everyone was asking me, where'd you get that haircut? But I never really wanted to tell them. I ended up telling a few girls in one time. And before Nando, I told them about this other place that I went to. And the problem was that everybody came back looking like the same thing. That's why I wouldn't tell them about Nando. Later on in years, I was teaching and I decided I wanted to wear a bob. I had another another woman that I used to go to. When I was working at a specific department store, I've worked in retail. And while I was working at Bloomingdale's, I'll never forget it, there was this girl who used to find herself in trouble, and I always used to get her out of trouble. And I met her mother when her mother came to visit one time, and her mother was leaving her regular job. She was going to work from home because she was having issues with transportation, with New York traffic, whatever. So I started going to her home to get my hair done. And she would give me the cellophane. And the cellophane was basically, you could choose whatever color you wanted to get your bob dyed. And it was like a rinse she would put in. My hair's never been black. You already know. My hair's always been more brown. So for me to even switch it up to black, it was a mistake. But I'm riding out this mistake, okay? And it's okay that it's a mistake because, you know, I needed to switch it up a little bit. I guess I was sticking in the same range. And sometimes, you know, change is great. But anyway, let me get down to it. So I was going to her home to get my hair done. And she was she's Dominican Republic lady, a woman from Dominican Republic. Now, I'm be honest with you. My Dominicanos, I don't know what it is, that I love them. I'm telling you, they always seem to bring a whole new, and I know you say, you know, everybody's the same. Everybody can be the same, everybody can be different. But I'm telling you, these people, when I go around Dominican people, I'm telling you, I feel like they welcome me in a whole different way. I don't know. That's just what it is. So anyway, I used to go to her house. She's still, in fact, the funny thing is, she's still operating, but I don't have a perm, so I can't go. She said, she had told me when I decided I was going to go natural. She said, when you're ready, you come back, I take care of you. But when I tell you, when I used to go to her house, I used to go there early in the morning on like a Saturday. Always on the weekend, because her schedule during the week was a little harder. But I go on the weekend. And she would tell me, okay, I want you to, you want to get your hair done first? In fact, I'm going to give you a deep conditioner. So she'd give me like a treatment. And I'd sit under the dryer, whatever. And then she'd say, okay, I got, let's say a wedding party she was doing a wedding party. She'd tell me to go into the bedroom. And she had like every channel. When I say every channel, you never were bored at this house. She had every channel possible. And you could watch whatever you wanted to watch. And half the time, be honest with you, I was exhausted from teaching. So I'd fall asleep. And she said, Mommy, come on, I'm ready for you. And she'd finish doing the treatment and she'd get me out. But it was like a day process. But it was a good day process because in the morning when I got in, she had a smoothie for me. It was a mango smoothie. Then she'd make beans and rice. Oh my goodness, this lady made the best beans and rice ever. And her music, some of her music, I don't know, some of the music was Spanish music, but some of it seemed like it was, I mean, I know, you know, I like salsa merengue too. But she had some kind of calypso twist in the middle of all that music. The thing is that I think when God allows you, and when I say allow, I mean really allows you to be introduced to so many different types of people of different ethnicities. It allows you to explore and get to see that people connect with you, and some of them are different from you and you can learn from them, but some of them share so many similarities. We don't always realize that we share these similarities with people when we put this sign up, unavailable. We put the sign up of unavailability when we show attitude and we don't want to be bothered. This is the one thing that I loved about teaching. I've taught every nationalities. I'm talking Korean, Japanese, and don't even get me started. There's a library in, what is the name of this town? The next town over from Leonia. And they have a library there. In this library, I was able to practice my Chinese when I took that Chinese workshop some years back with the children, because this is the library, and the library is really the hangout for them. But it's the hangout, but they still read and exchange ideas. When you go to different neighborhoods and you check out the libraries, you get to see how the people utilize the libraries in so many different ways. It's a quiet area, but then there's an area that's not so quiet, where you can take phone calls, where you can use your computer, where you can sit. And some people there's also tea rooms in some of these libraries. There's this hotel that I discovered some years back that has a library in it. There's new communities that have libraries in them. You know, so when we miss our quiet time and we don't always get it in our own home environments, you can go there. You know, it's important that we look at these different ethnicities and we realize that diversity It's actually building us up to be better people, because we don't have to look at a person from face value. When you see a person only at face value, you lose so much more. You never got a chance to explore and know who this person truly is or was. You know, this color shirt, blouse that I'm wearing right now, well, this guys and girls can wear it. But it's important that we look at these colors and say, this color is usually a color that you will wear outside if you were jogging at night, right? And the person is driving and they can't see you. They get to see you in such a bright, vibrant color. Well, we've got to see everyone in those vibrant colors, because our world is not filled with just us, with just our ethnicity. It's filled with everyone. And sometimes you might be the representation to what other people might get to know. They might be closing you up because of what they thought they saw in the news, what they think about people of your ethnic background from just looking at the television. It's important that we realize that we are sometimes having to be the change that the world needs. Because after all, when you're loving yourself and you're loving others and you're interacting with each other, you're getting to see and know that life can be filled with love. But sometimes you got to take the chance. Sometimes you got to explore. You know, you might want to get on a plane and get that passport and go somewhere. When you get there, you never know what you're going to find. You might just find people who look more like you, or people who are different from you, who represent themselves and teach you something new. So it is so lovely being you, and it's so lovely being them, and it's so lovely being her, and it's so lovely being him. Let us come together and learn more about each other and explore. Thank you. For each experience is a lesson, whether it be at a barber shop or otherwise. Thank you.